All right, guys, we are live. And I know I'm not in my typical background here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. As you come in, let me know where you're coming from. We are streaming to a few different places, so you will see my eyes go in different places. Let me know where you are coming from. It's so good to be here with you on this magical February 26th. So much going on planetarily, so much going on energetically. How is everybody feeling and doing? Today, I want to talk to you about something that is, and it happens without fail, but what to do when it seems like nothing is working out. Maybe you've just made a big life decision and transition, and then shit hits the fan, and you're like, and your mind is going to say, should we not have done that? Like, what did we just do? Is this a sign? Is this a mistake? Should we be doing things differently? So, as you're coming in, let me know where you're coming from. I'm Melissa Catherine. Today, we're talking about what to do when shit hits the fan, when you've made a big decision, or you're in a life transition, or you've just, like I said, you've made a big decision, whether it's just something that feels very different for you and it seems like nothing is working out. Has that happened to you? Let me know in the comments. So right now you are seeing my background is very different because I essentially just made a very big decision. I moved, my stuff is in storage. I moved on Friday. For anybody that follows me, you saw the behind the scenes, and you'll see the full vlog on YouTube. And as you're coming in, let me know, have you ever experienced where, it just seems like nothing is working out, that you just, made this decision that felt so aligned and so good. And you made some big decisions. And then you're asking yourself, was this a mistake? Was this, whether it was a relationship that ended, or an investment that you made, or a job that you left, or you started your career? One of the things inside our programs, I run Reinvention, which is identity meets purpose. And a lot of the women are they're in midlife, and they're in these big life transitions where they're going, is this it? I want something more. And because of that, they're making bold moves. They're starting new careers. They're starting businesses. They're changing their lives in massive ways. And then without fail, that ego can come in and it can say, was this a mistake? And it will look, and it will start, especially if you're spiritually attuned and in self-growth, you'll say, was this a sign? Should I not do this? And anytime we stretch ourselves, anytime we push back on our thermostat setting, right? So we have a thermostat setting inside of us that is regulated in our nervous system, dialed in. It doesn't matter what you consciously are thinking, but it is dialed in, and it wants you to stay at that thermostat setting. It wants you to stay at that exact weight that you might not like, but wants you to stay there. Why? Because it's your comfort zone. It wants you to stay at the same status in society, the same amount of money. It wants you to stay in the same job. And the older that we get, that fear barometer increases, and all of a sudden we start asking ourselves, wow, the risk is higher. Should I do this? But understand, your soul came here to expand and to express. It did not come here to stay the same. So if you've been living on Groundhog's Day and you have not stretched your thermostat setting, then it's time to actually ask yourself, am I fully living? And what is it that I want? And am I going full out? Now, those of you that have, I'm going to tell you, and I just want to do like a story here because I'm literally sharing in real time that this is currently, like, right now I'm completely displaced. I am in the in between for the in between. I am flying out on Sunday, and let's just talk about the different things that have gone on. So I moved on, and for, if you are new to me, hello Finland. It is so good to see you. I am not fully living. So I would love to know, what does that look like, and how did you tap into that? That is something that we talked about inside Limitless Academy, and anybody share in the comments. Um, when you, if everything is status quo and it's like Groundhog's Day, then there's an aspect of you that's gotten very complacent. And I often say that, complacency, it's a scary place to go, because it will say, hey, things are good enough. It's good enough. It's not bad. It's like, do we really need to push for more? Do we really need more? It's okay. I get up, I go to the gym, I'm healthy, I like, right? And then I go to my job, and then I come home and we do. But if you don't feel alive, if you don't feel activated, then what are we doing here? right? And I wouldn't think you'd be on a live stream where with somebody who actually has programs called Limitless, Reinvent Yourself and Ascension, if you weren't actually in the space of wanting more. And the women and the people that find me, my audience, often ask themselves, they get awakened at night asking themselves the question, is this it? Is this all there is? They're highly successful. They've achieved a ton and they're sitting there kind of going, but I want more. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we're meant. That's why we're here. We're not meant to just stay the same. We're not meant to just have the one career unless it is our dream career and you're fully fulfilled, but only you know that. So often when we do make a bold leap, when we make that big decision, everything will go wrong. And it's kind of it's alarming in the sense that you're like, wait, I just made this huge life altering decision. It felt so aligned. I was intuitively led. I felt calm. I felt inspired. I felt excited. I took the leap. Shouldn't I be rewarded? Shouldn't it be right there? And that's where I want to say the universe will come in and will kind of go, are you really all in on this? And it will feel like you're being tested. It will feel like things are being taken. It will feel like you just made a mistake. All of a sudden, you could have declared, I'm going out on my own. I just had this with one of my clients. She started her own business. And then for the past years, she's been trying to get a job in her old industry. Now she started her new business that feels so aligned and she's so energized. And it was like everything. And she's so fired up and excited. And then what happened? She got 2 job offers from her previous employers, and they were coming in and a recruiter reached out, and that will happen to say, are you truly all in on what you want? Because the universe wants all in energy. All in energy is potent and powerful. It's I'm all in. There is not a plan B. I am so all in on this and I have full faith that it's happening for me. Now, there will be things that it won't be smooth. So let me give you I'm legit guys, get ready because I'm in it. And I want to share with you exactly what I'm doing to stay grounded. So what to do when nothing is working out, especially after 40, when you're sitting there. So I truly just made for myself a big decision. And on Friday, I left my home. I put everything in storage. I sold most of my things. If you follow me on social, you saw a man came in and was like, I love your furniture. And I was like, yeah, it's great. Right. And then he's like, I'm like, I put a lot of time into it. He's like, you can tell. He's like, it's just stuff is gorgeous. I was like, thank you so much. And he's like, I want all of it. And I was like, come again? What? We want it all of it. And I sat there with myself and I was like, and there were a few pieces I did hold on to, but I sat and I was like, and all of a sudden in an instant, and this is how quick it will be, right? He's there literally to buy my furniture and he's saying like, I want it all. And in the moment I have to literally come up with an answer and an amount, right? I was not expecting that. I thought he was coming for a coffee table, some side table, like other things that I was selling. And so when he said he wants all of it, in that moment, it was like, oh, okay. Well, wow, that's really like next level. Like we're getting rid of all of it. And so I said to myself, and I noticed my ego came in right away. Your mind will come in. And remember, the mind doesn't know the present moment. The mind only knows it's either going to future trip or it's going to bring you back to the past. But understand the mind is never satisfied with what you do. You turn right, it says you should have turned left. You stay in, it says you should have gone out. You go to the party, it says you should have stayed in tonight. This wasn't worth our time. No matter what you do, the mind is going to find something faulty in what you did. Divine consciousness loves you unconditionally and never sees anything wrong with you. That's how you always know, am I aligned with divine consciousness? So I'm sitting there, I'm in my home and I'm like, wow, this is a lot. Like I'm leaving my home, like there's a lot happening, right? And so in that moment, I sat there and my ego is going, well, what if you don't want to travel all year? What if you decide you come back early? What if where you're going, like it's not going to work? What if? And what if you want this stuff and it is beautiful stuff? And what if you never find this beautiful stuff again? And I was like, oh my God. And so my nervous system's like, what are we doing? And and in real time. And in that moment I said, what do you teach, Melissa? I don't come from lack. I come from, if not this, then there's something better. Of course, I found great furniture. I love this furniture. But what if there's something so much better? What if there's better? I'm not coming from lack. Good. Yes, take it. What else do you want? Sure, you want that. And he's like, my wife is going to love it. And I swear, this little dude, he was like this awesome Asian dude, and he came in and he would talk to me about his like home life. And in the moment, I swear he's dropping truth bombs. He's like, about all these different things in his life and what he's learned and where he's at now. And I was just like, I love that this stuff is going to somebody that's truly going to appreciate it and love it. And I let it go lovingly. But I want you to understand the example. So I'm in the moment. I'm like, wait, and we will get opportunities. We will get opportunities to sit there and, we will have opportunities where it's like, oh, do you want everything? Because look, I'm giving you an answer to your prayers. I'm literally, I'm so sorry. Somebody, I'm not in my own home. So whatever background noise you're hearing, yeah. So anyway, um, what I wanted to say is I'm just distracted at the moment. Hold on. Somebody like walked in and is like yelling upstairs, and I'm trying to like stay focused. So, what I wanted to say more than anything is in that moment, you will be given answers to prayers and different things. Like I was also sitting there like, what a gift that you're going to take everything. Awesome. Right. And that's where I just want to say, you get to really align with divine and align with, there is always more where that came from. Align with, of course, I'm on the right path. And so now let's also talk about this. So on Friday, I left my apartment, sold my furniture, putting things in storage, and I am off on a year adventure. And I will share more about that. And my first stop is a place that's been a home away from home for me, where it's in Mexico. Well, if you've been into the news, then you know that Mexico, there's a lot that just happened there with the cartel and traveling there and TSA, right? I mean, and I'm literally flying on Sunday. So on Monday, and one of my cousins was renting a home there as well during the same time, and we've been looking forward to it all year. On Monday, my cousin called and said, like, did you watch the news? Well, I don't generally watch the news, and I wasn't. So and she's like, you're not going to be able to go. And you know, it went into this whole thing, and I just sat there and I'm like, wait a minute, I literally just moved 2 days ago. I put my stuff in storage, and now this happens with Mexico, right? And so I'm sitting there, and everything, of course, I'm going, did I just make the worst decision? What am I doing? Did I make a huge mistake? Am I crazy? I really felt that this was divinely aligned and really like intuitively knew that this was what was right. It felt so right in my body. Like everything that I teach and everything that I know was going, but this doesn't make sense that this is what's going on in reality, right? And that will happen. And what I did, I want to share with you today to stay grounded and to still be going and to have it work in my favor. So, as a woman over 40, if you are reinventing yourself, if you've made a bold move and then immediately felt that kind of wobble, that questioning, right? Then please stay tuned, because what I'm going to share with you can apply, and you don't need to just be a woman over 40. Anytime we make a bold move, a big decision, because it will test your nervous system. And what I did and how I handled myself, I want to share with you, because it's what really kept me aligned and grounded without going into freak out. So as I was sitting there in my body, I felt very calm. And I wasn't sitting there worried about anything. And I'm like, okay, this is, so she's worried. And it's basically like this, like, we're not going, we're not going to get our, like, have you talked to them? Are you going to be able to get your money back? What are you going to do now? Where do you want to go? And I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, I feel like I'm still going. And so I stayed grounded in my truth. And it can be really hard. And I wanted to share this with what's going on in the state of the world, with all the chaos, with other people's projections and their fears and the news. I know firsthand, I've lived in major cities during some of the craziest things that have occurred. I lived in New York when 9/11 happened. I lived in New York when Sandy happened. I had to, my apartment was boarded up. I had to there are the craziest things. I've been in LA for the fires. I've been in LA. So I say all of this because I also am very aware about what happens in the news and how they will sensationalize and make it's like one horrific story after another in succession. But I've also been there when that's not actually the experience of what's going on in the place. And you're kind of like, wow, you guys are making that sound really like that's actually not the felt experience in New York City at this moment, or like that's not the felt experience in LA or in like, so I just say this because I was very aware of that. But what I did was I stayed connected to myself. And it is very easy to allow the projections of life and other people. And other people are always going to project onto you based off of their lens of how they would live, off of their fears. So it's very important that you stay grounded in yourself and you stay clear on what you want to be your reality, right? So today I want to show you exactly what I did in real time and what it looked like when everything looked like it was falling apart. And there's so much more that I can say to this, even so before we go any further though, tell me in the comments, have you made a bold move recently? And did you leave something or someone? Did you start something new? Did you end something? Did you move somewhere? And really like think about that. And then I'd love to hear, did kind of shit hit the fan after you made that decision? Was it all seamless? Let me know in the comments because it really, really does make a difference. Okay. Um, uh, Sometimes I don't have my assistant here to go through some of the, um, okay. Thank you. Thank you for the beautiful comments. You guys are so sweet. Um, God. Sorry, guys, I missed all these. All right. Oh, thank you, Victor. I appreciate that so much. Um, no, this channel is not specifically for women. By all means, get what you need. Get what you need. I am for the people. But yes, I primarily work with women over 40 in my demographic and like in our programs, but we have women of other ages. And yes, there are definitely men here. Oh, Scott. Oh my God, Scott, it's so good to see you. Okay, it is so good to have you here. Hi. Blast from the past. I have not been back to New York in a very, very long time. I think I left New York City after living there for 14 years. And I went back once. I don't know. I love that city. I don't know why I haven't gone back as much more. Um, yes. Jesus. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, I want to make sure I'm getting rid of clutter. Getting rid of clutter is a huge one. If you didn't watch, I have another video on here about decluttering where I actually like took you into my closet as I was decluttering all the things. And it's powerful, especially right now, everybody. If you can get rid of things, like clutter just has energy. And if you are not wanting things from your past, and you find yourself repeating the same patterns in relationships, repeating the same patterns just in life in general, and you feel stuck in any way, declutter, bless it all, gift it, and then welcome in the new and do it envisioning your next level. So as you're getting rid of things, see your next level. As you're getting rid of the clothes, see the new clothes that you want in coming in. If you're getting rid of things from an ex, see like I'm happy and thriving in this new partnership. Like really allow that energetically. But definitely go watch my video on decluttering. I have so many here on declutter. I love decluttering. And I'm a huge proponent of all things energy and upgrading our frequency and positivity. All right. So what I wanted to say, and I love sharing. Okay. So here's what I want to tell you. When I do talk about reinventing yourself, what it means is you're going to your next level. There are aspects of who you've been that you know can't go with you on where you're going. And generally that's when we shift identities. And it's you can't was it help me out, guys. I'm not feeling my best right now. What is was it? It wasn't Carl Jung. Was it Aristotle that said you can't? create from a new consciousness, from your current consciousness, from who you've been. Like you can't actually create the new version of you by operating from who you've been. It goes back to what I originally started with here with the thermostat setting. Our thermostat setting, your nervous system is set in an area of comfort, whether you like where it's stopping you and blocking you, whether you like your current financial situation, or whether you like your body where it is right now. That actually isn't what matters. What matters is your subconscious, which makes up 95% of your decisions. And it stopped forming after the age of 10. So any of your subconscious beliefs or any subconscious contracts that you made early on of, I want, I'm uncomfortable in the spotlight. Maybe that would have you struggle with your weight, or money brought, unrest in my household, or created stress for my father or my mother. Then you might have created a subconscious contract that said, I only want so much money, but I actually, that where money is deemed maybe not evil, but not helpful, that it's not supportive in some way, or that it's going to block you from the true happiness that you desire. So often we are manifesting. You're manifesting right now. And when I say manifesting, guys, I don't mean to go into like the hokey, but your desires are creating for and against you right now. Your fears are creating for and against you right now. If you have a fear of getting sick, most likely you're going to get sick. If you have, right? So like the people that obsess in their whole lives, that they've been afraid or they identify with a certain illness, oftentimes you'll find that's the exact illness that they have, or the exact issue that they have. Whatever they've spoken into is what they will receive. And it's the same with everything else. So you really want to attach, and what I'm talking about here today is really creating your end state. So when I'm sitting there and I'm watching what's going on with Mexico, and I'm like, I am in, like, I literally just did that, and I'm moving and I'm staying with my father right now, as you can see. And then we have other family that visited that were sick. Like they literally got off the plane with viral infections. And I'm like, is everything trying to, like, what is going on? And I easily could be like, oh, I shouldn't go right now. I shouldn't this, but I want to tell you what I did. So first and foremost, aside from my cousin and her situation, I was like, what feels good and true for me? So I got very clear on my truth. And then I realized what the world will project onto you. There's, of course, there are people that care about me that are going to say, like, I don't want you to go, or like, that is that the safest, or this and that. So I was like, okay, I've got to be grounded in my truth. I connected in with myself and I asked myself, what is right for me? Then, knowing what I know with mindset and programming, I said, okay, knowing what we teach and everything else, I know that I need to stay connected to the end state. I want to see myself there, thriving, happy, healthy. It was easy. I'm there. I'm right. Like that's what I want my end scene to be. So I'm not going to allow for the wobble or anything else. I'm only going to feed that, and I'm going to do things in accordance with that. Thank you so much for all the love, guys. You are amazing. I love all the emojis. And let me know any questions, but I want to hear from you. So one, you want to stay grounded in your truth. Two, you want to be aware of other people's projections and their fears onto you, and really discern, is this my energy and is this my truth, or is this theirs? Right? Then what you really want to do is, if you're noticing like you're getting anxious and your nervous system is like, did I make a mistake? Was this wrong? Should I not have? Really, really getting into, what do I want to be true? Because the truth is, you're writing your next chapter at all times. So what do you want the next chapter to look like? What do you want? What do you want to have happen next? And what you want and where you put your energy and where you dial into your grounded belief is what's going to happen. I firmly believe. Now, granted, there can be outward influences, but you get to sit there. You guys, thank you so much. God Queen, you're incredible. Thank you. So I say this because I wrote what happens next. Here's what I want to have happen next. And then I continued on with that. Thank you guys for all the love. I continued on with that. And that's something that people miss often. They feel like life is happening to them. And oh my God, all of a sudden now I have no power here. Yes, you do. What you want to be true. And remember, you can consciously be like, no, I'm still going on this trip, right? I could consciously, but if I didn't believe it and ground into it, then my dominant energy is, I don't actually believe that I'm going to go, right? And that's what will win out. So that's why when we talk about affirmations and mantras, like, you need to make it a truth statement. and then ground into it until there's so much belief that nothing's going to knock it from you, right? So, like I said, the first, oh, and then I missed a pivotal piece here. The very first thing, I asked myself my truth, but then here is a beautiful thing to do when it looks like things aren't working for you. This is a beautiful thing to do. And I learned this from Andrea Schulman. And I love flipping this on its head. So I will say, whenever things don't look like they're going your way, ask yourself, why would it be a good thing? Why would it be a good thing if it didn't work? Why would that be good? Right. And what that does is it detaches your energy from like obsessing over it and being like, this needs to happen, or this person needs to be my person, or I need this amount of money by this date, or I need to get this job. Start flipping the energy into, why would it be a good thing if this didn't happen for me? And why would it actually work in my favor? And I started asking myself that. I was like, well, maybe I'm not meant to go. Maybe there's a better place for me. Maybe God's going to redirect me to something even better. Maybe I'm meant to go a few days later. Maybe it's keeping me from something that would have not worked out for me, right? Thank you, guys. So I say that because when you do that, you flip the energy and then you start. So, I mean, you can apply that in any way. Why is it a good thing I have a cavity? Why is it a good thing? Why is it a good thing that that diagnosis happened? Why is it a good thing? When you do that and you start asking yourself, why is it a good thing this is happening? Why is it a good thing that I might not be able to go? Why is it a good thing that it seems like things are falling apart? When you ask that question and you detach energetically, you stop reacting and you start creating, right? And you almost get yourself excited for it not to work out. And that is powerful. It is powerful. So always do that. Always do that. Like if you walk into a party or an event and you feel nervous and you're like, no one is talking to me, just be like, why is that a good thing? I'm going to make my own party. I'm going to be in my own confidence. I'm going to sit here. I'm actually going to flip the script and say why it's a good thing. And I'm going to really own my power over here. It's that gives you that power. So right now, be honest and ask yourself, are you in an expansion or a wobble right now? Put in the comments, expansion or wobble. Really anchor in and ask yourself, am I fully committed and all in on where I'm going? Or is there a wobble right now? Is there something happening in my energy that's not all in? Because that's what you want to clean up to get this to work in your favor. So the next thing that I want to tell you, without fail, one of my favorite mantras of all time, and I swear it's just like magic. It just works. Repeating to yourself that everything is always working out for you. Everything is always working out for your highest and best possible good at all times. Everything is always working out for you. Just everything is always working out for you. And if everything is always working out for you, then maybe this is redirection. Maybe this is protection. Maybe this is simply just timing. But I refuse to operate like life is happening to me instead of for me. I made that declaration a long time ago and it served me greatly and it will serve you too. Because you can drop from the 5D, right? The 8D, any of those, and you can easily drop into the 3D. And what I mean by that is all of a sudden you can feel victim to life very quickly. You can get caught up in the news. You can get caught in fear. You can get caught in the negativity and that whole spiral and get derailed very quickly. I don't live there. I choose no drama. I choose positivity. I'm the creator of my reality and I get to co-create with divine consciousness and my body is my barometer at all times. I don't operate from the mind. The mind is a construct of past consciousness. It is an artifact of the past. It is an archaic Google file. It is your computer, your Macintosh, the first one that ever came out. Like I'm like literally seeing when we got our first computer, like totally dating myself, but it is that. It is nothing more than a compilation of past consciousness, all the identities that you want, all the beliefs that you want, that you don't want, all the fears, all the memories, all your projections, all your perceived notions. That is all that your mind is. And it's dictating who you are. And every time something occurs in your life, you are literally programming your mind at all times. It is pulling up Google, or I like to say it's ChatGPT. You are programming it. You know how you take ChatGPT and you program it to know you, to have a voice to respond in the way that you want it to. That's what we've done with the mind. But so many people mistake the mind for being them. So many people mistake their thoughts for being real. So many people give meaning to their emotions and let their emotions to dictate them, especially women, instead of knowing your emotions are nothing more than energetic frequencies coursing through you at all times, but give them meaning, and you're going to go in the wrong way very quickly. People give meaning to their thoughts. Oh, no, you were just a thinker of your thoughts. If you don't want that thought, then change it. And you do not. And this is why I love identity work and reinvention so much. If you have an identity about yourself that you're not athletic, that you're not smart, that you're not pretty enough, that you're not thin enough, that you're not this good at business, that you're not this or that, you can change it right now. You can literally write down, this is the new identity that I'm choosing. I'm going to live into it. How is she different than me? How is he different than me? And then I'm going to close the gap and do that each day until it becomes who I be, right? So if I am the creator of my reality, which I know and believe that I am, then I need to write what happens next. So I wrote it. I wrote, I am in San Miguel. I am safe. I am grounded. I am exactly where I'm meant to be. And then I gave thanks. I gave thanks. I said, thank you so much, not for what was, but for what is becoming. Do you see the difference? It's a huge difference. And then I acted in alignment. So then I went shopping because, of course, and I bought myself a skirt. And I bought myself a skirt, by the way. I had decluttered an exact one that I love that I wore all last year. And I loved it. And I said, but it had like, it started to get pilled. It was like a knit long skirt with a side slit. It was just easy. It was comfy. It was like, it was fantastic. Wear it with sneakers, wear it with flip-flops, wear it with heels, wear it all the time. Loved it. And then I saw one and I was like, you're my upgrade. And I'm buying you as an act of full faith of that I'm going. And that's what I did. So as I was walking out of the store, I saw one hanging there and it said, buy me, Melissa. And I said, if don't mind if I do. And so I did that as that act of faith, and it's in my suitcase going with me. That is embodiment. It's not wishing, it's not hoping, it's acting in alignment, right? And the last thing that I did that I must share, that I will say to all of you that would behoove you for all of 26 to do, 2026, was I moved my body, right? Because what so many women do in particular is they stay stuck in the emotion and they stay stuck in the analysis and the paralysis. And this is meant to that anxiety that and one of my mottos that I teach inside all of my programs is you cannot outthink yourself of a negative state. You just cannot. And so many sit there and they're like, I'm just going to keep thinking, I'm going to talk to everybody about it. I'm going to do this. Get out of your head, move the energy, release it, move it so you can get the clarity that you need. If you stay frozen and you stay in your mind, fear wins. And like I said in the beginning of this live, your mind will talk you into and out of anything. If you stay, it will say you should have gone. If you go, it say you should have go. If you stay in the relationship, it'll say, why did we stay? We should have left. If you leave, it'll say that was the best relationship we've ever had. If you move, your power returns. You release the energy and you gain the clarity and the divine consciousness that we want to align to our highest and best possible good. So I want to ask you now, I'm putting this back on you and I want you to be honest. Have you ever thought, did I just make a mistake? Did I ruin everything? And did it end up working out? So type yes if that thought crossed your mind. And I want to know, did it end up working out in your favor? Did you follow these steps? So here's what I want to say. If you are a woman over 40 reinventing yourself or shifting identities, maybe you're in a big midlife transition. You're ending a relationship, you're starting a new one, you just had a baby, you are empty nesting, you want to start your business, right? Whether it's and I just want to say this, stay connected, stay in these lives. I go live every Thursday and often Saturdays or Sundays. I am flying on Sundays, so my next one will be on Saturday. But all of this content here, right? Stay in community, especially this year, because there's, the fire horse is big, massive momentum. But you can burn out quickly. So we want to stay grounded. We want to move our bodies and we want to stay aligned. And if you are liking me and you want to be inside my energy and with me in my journey of, I've coined it my bold life era in this next level, this like I'm so excited for this year, and I'm also excited for where it's going to take me. And stay tuned because we'll be doing that for each episode. Make sure to follow on YouTube and subscribe to this channel. Please share with anybody who you know could benefit. But whether it's my membership, my workshops, experiences I'm creating, understand no matter what, any self growth or self development you do, it's not about fixing you. Everything is simply just you investing in your wholeness, right? You going to your next level with being whole. It's about you understanding that you are the answer, that you hold the key, that the power lives inside of you, and you are the creator of your reality. And if you do want to work with me in any capacity, all links are below. And if you're ready for that, also in this barcode right here, that's our first step. That's where I would say to go. That's my identity shift. It's our mini course, and it will guide you because you need to have clarity on who you want to be and how she's different or he's different from who you've been. And in that course, with the workbook, it will take you through so that at the end of it, you have an exact like playbook and full clarity on who you are in exact detail. And what I find with so many is that they're not clear. They're not clear on what they want. They know, I want to make more money this year. Well, what's the exact dollar amount? I want to be happy. What does that even mean? I want to be healthy. What does that mean? I want to age backwards. Again, what does that mean? I want the love of my life. Okay, get detailed. Who are they? What does that look like? Where are you living? I want to just feel free. Like I will often hear these terms and I love it. But what does that mean? Put it in context so the universe can actually deliver it to you. You need to be clear this year. Saturn is about clarity. It's about discipline. It needs you to know where you're going. We're out of this like whimsy of like whatever. It's really be clear and be disciplined and discern and stay committed to what you're wanting to build. And again, if you want that, come join Limitless Academy. That's what we do inside. You can join Limitless Light. All my links are below. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. And let me see. Anya. Oh, it's so good to see you. I'm half Irish. I'm half Irish and half Italian. Okay. Um, okay. Hi, England. It is so good to see you. All right. And I really want my assistant on the next one. Sorry, guys, for the any spammer comments that are not helpful. Okay. All right. I'm just seeing any questions. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you all, and I will see you in our next live. And any questions for me, you know where to find me. And I always love your DMs and all of your comments. I answer all of them personally. So thank you so much. And that's all I really want to say. I hope you got a lot from today's live. Remember, any decisions that you make, when you make a bold move, sometimes it might look like things are falling apart, but trust and have full faith that they are coming together. It's just going, are you all in? And you just get to declare a hell yes, stay committed to the end vision, and it will happen. I love you all. And the next time you'll see me, I will be in another country. Bye.